there are two factions in magic. And the one faction goes back to before recorded history. And the other faction starts in the 16th century. And about the middle of the 16th century, a book was written called The Discovery of Witchcraft. It's the first magic book ever written. But it's more profound than that, because it's the first book written that ever addresses magic as being tricks. How profound that is in a field where before that, everybody who did tricks claimed they were real events. Now, I mean, that's not literally true, of course. Someone would have said this. But that is, it was never published saying this is tricks. And then you come up to Robert Houdin, who is the French magician who Houdini got his name from, who became very sophisticated, top hat, tails, the image of magician that you have, that also presented his tricks. And then you get Houdini. And then at Houdini's legacy, you get Amazing Randy. And Houdini is one of those very rare superstars. And when the 20th century is, a couple hundred years behind, we don't know who will be the most famous entertainer of the 20th century. But it's come down now, I think it's pretty clearly, it'll either be Elvis or Houdini. Houdini's already in the dictionary, Elvis isn't, but Houdini, first of all, made the immigrants case. I wish Trump could have seen Houdini, because then he'd be so old he'd be dead by now. But Houdini's first act was he was the handcuff king, and he would stand in front. I may cry saying this; it's so important to me. But he would stand in front of a nation of immigrants and say, "I defy the jails of the world to hold me." Much heavier than "you ain't nothing but a hound dog." I defy the jails of the world to hold me. And then after becoming a superstar, his mother died. When his mother died, spiritualists came, and he got to see something that I experienced when my mother died too. You are appalled at the death vampires that go to people who are grieving and pretend to talk to the dead and take their money and take their dignity. You're appalled by that. And then you have a deep loss in your life, and you go from being appalled to being heartbroken. And Houdini changed his whole career and started telling people that all the things the spiritualists were doing were tricks. Now, don't be misrepresent. Houdini was not an atheist. He was a Jew. He was the son of a rabbi, Eric Weiss. He was not an atheist, but he was a skeptic. And he spoke about that constantly. These are tricks, these are tricks, these are tricks. And then we come up to Amazing Randy, who's my mentor, who created me, who is the skeptic now. And now you have that exact same thing that existed in the 16th century in the discovery of witchcraft at every level of magic. David Blaine, magician, a friend of mine, has said to me, and I'm not misrepresenting him here, I believe if he were standing on the stage, he'd say the same thing. He believes that the job of the magician is to misrepresent reality. That's a really heavy thing to say. I believe the job of the magician is to never misrepresent reality. I believe when you come to see a Penn and Teller show, if you see someone sawn into halves, except for, someone who is mentally ill or, virtually everybody leaves the theater not thinking they witnessed a murder, but thinking they saw a magic trick. And I would like that to be on every single trick we do. I would like you to leave the theater not believing anything I know to be false. That's really difficult with stuff like fake mind reading, mentalism, because you're desperate to say, well, I use psychology, when you actually just used a force or you stole something or switched something, to try to be that honest. And I believe, and this is where bullshit came in, that some people believe that government should get the right result even if people don't really know what's going on. I really firmly believe that Hillary Clinton believes in her heart, and I'm not saying this any way cynically, I believe she thinks she knows what's best for other people. And I believe that she believes, and I have no evidence for this, I don't know her, but my sense is that she's really trying to do good. Just like David Blaine's trying to do a really good show. And David Blaine does do a very good show. Whether Hillary Clinton does good or not is another question. But David Blaine does do a very good show, very entertaining, good. She's a good performer. And my view of magic is that I should trust everybody around me and say, you know, while you were learning to fix cars and program a machine code and perform surgery, I was learning how to lie in a really successful way. I was learning how to tell lies that I wouldn't even tell, but ways to manipulate you into telling yourself lies. And I've chosen to do that within a proscenium, which means I can be moral, because you know we're playing in this, you know? And what magic is it's a playful study of epistemology. It's a playful study of how we ascertain what's real and what's fake. And what I want out of magic is for people to come out and say, I'm going to do tricks, and we will study together how those tricks lead us down wrong paths. And maybe, just maybe, it doesn't happen often, you learn a little something from art that you can use in your day-to-day life. And I also think that government should go from this, we know what's right, trust us, let us just do it, we'll hide the machinations, won't show you how the sausage is made. And I think we should let go of that and just say, what can we do to best take care of each other, and how can we do that without using any violence?